Today on the Garage Legends, we dive deep into one of Chevrolet's most mysterious creations, the 427 Mystery Motor. It's often called the most misunderstood engine in Chevrolet's history, a power plant born from secrecy, ambition, and a fierce determination to dominate the racetrack. Picture this, it's 1962. Deep within Chevrolet's engineering labs, a team of brilliant minds is working behind locked doors on a top-secret project. Their mission? To build an engine powerful enough to outshine Ford's 427 and Chrysler's mighty Hemi. What they created was nothing short of revolutionary, an experimental big-block V8 officially known as the Mark II 427, but soon to be whispered about as the Mystery Motor. This wasn't just a tweaked version of the old 409, it was an entirely new design, a bold leap forward for Chevrolet engineering. The Mark II introduced canted valve porcupine cylinder heads, a groundbreaking feature that dramatically improved airflow at higher PMs. Instead of copying Chrysler's hemispherical chamber philosophy, Chevrolet focused on optimizing air movement and combustion efficiency, a design principle that would later define the legendary Mark IV engines like the 396, 427, and 454. When the Mystery Motor made its debut at the Daytona 250, it stunned the racing world. Drivers like Junior Johnson and Johnny Rutherford unleashed the engine's full potential on the track, leaving fans and competitors alike in awe. The sheer speed and torque of this new powerhouse hinted at a new era for Chevrolet and NASCAR. But almost as quickly as it appeared, the Mystery Motor vanished from the scene. In 1963, General Motors abruptly pulled out of factory-backed racing. This wasn't because the Mystery Motor had failed, far from it. The decision stemmed from GM's compliance with the long-standing Automobile Manufacturers Association ban, a voluntary agreement dating back to 1957 that prohibited direct factory involvement in motorsports. At the same time, NASCAR was tightening its rules to slow down the escalating horsepower wars among automakers. With GM stepping away, Chevrolet's teams lost the corporate backing they needed to keep developing the Mystery Motor. Its story was suddenly cut short, a masterpiece without a stage to perform on. The creation of the Mark II was wrapped in secrecy. Only a handful of GM insiders even knew it existed. Among them was the legendary mechanic Smokey Yunick, famous for his rule-bending genius and partnership with Chevrolet. Yunick helped test and refine the Mystery Motor in secret, finding creative ways to bypass the racing ban and keep Chevy's competitive edge alive. His behind-the-scenes work proved crucial in shaping not only the Mystery Motor, but Chevrolet's entire big-block legacy. Technically, the Mystery Motor was a hybrid, part evolution of the 409, part entirely new beast. Its canted valve porcupine heads earned it its nickname because of the angled layout of its valves, which provided exceptional airflow and massive power gains. Internally, it featured a stroked crankshaft. The S in Mark SS stood for stroked. The result was an engine capable of producing over 500 horsepower, with some insiders suggesting it might have reached as high as 540. On the racetrack, its power was undeniable. Junior Johnson's 1963 Impala, powered by the Mystery Motor, became a legend in itself. In just 33 races that year, Johnson secured 7 wins, 9 pole positions, and 13 top 5 finishes, a testament to what the Mark II could do. Chevrolet also experimented with a handful of prototype vehicles, modified Impalas and Bel Airs, built specifically to test the engine's limits under extreme conditions. Behind the development were some of GM's brightest minds, Ed Cole, Herb Feischl, Dick Kynaff, and of course, Smokey Yunick. Together, they envisioned a power plant that could dominate NASCAR and redefine Chevrolet's performance image. And for a brief moment, it did. But the GM racing ban changed everything. It shocked the entire motorsport community. Chevrolet had been at the forefront of stock car racing, and its sudden withdrawal left a massive void. Officially, GM claimed it wanted to distance itself from the rising costs and politics of racing, and from the image that linked performance cars to street danger. Unofficially, many believed internal pressure and government scrutiny over competition spending played a part. Whatever the reason, the ban sealed the fate of the Mystery Motor. Without factory support, private teams couldn't afford to continue developing it, and the engine faded into obscurity. What remained was a legend, a glimpse of what might have been. The 427 Mystery Motor was more than just an experimental engine. It represented a turning point in American racing, a symbol of innovation, risk, and ambition, cut short by politics and corporate caution. It laid the groundwork for the engines that would go on to define the muscle car era, proving that even when an idea is buried, its influence can still roar through history. No one knows exactly how many of Chevrolet's 427 Mystery Motors were ever built. Some automotive historians believe there were as few as 17, while others estimate closer to 50. What's certain is that only a handful of these experimental engines ever saw actual racing action. Over time, they became some of the rarest and most sought-after artifacts in American motorsport history. Treasures coveted by collectors and enthusiasts lucky enough to even glimpse one in person.
Decades after their disappearance, one of these legendary engines resurfaced. In 2010, Tom McIntyre's original race-spec Mystery Motor, one of the last known surviving examples, was rediscovered and carefully restored. Together with engine specialist Jim Duttweiler, McIntyre decided to perform a historic dyno test, bringing the sleeping giant back to life after more than 50 years. The restoration was meticulous, every component cleaned, inspected, and prepared as though handling a priceless artifact. When the engine was finally fired up, the room shook with history, a thunderous roar that hadn't been heard since the golden age of racing. The team cautiously ran the engine through its paces, monitoring oil pressure, temperature, and timing as it reached 5,000 RPM, then 5,500, and finally 6,000 RPM. Even after half a century, the Mystery Motor delivered an astonishing 440 horsepower and 435 pound-feet of torque. Experts agreed that these figures, though impressive, didn't represent its full potential. Back at its prime, with race-tuned camshafts, high-octane fuel, and period-correct adjustments, the engine could have easily surpassed 500 horsepower. Still, that 2010 test proved one undeniable truth. The Mystery Motor's engineering brilliance had stood the test of time. For those in the room that day, it was more than a test. It was a resurrection. As the motor screamed on the dyno, every turn of the crank echoed with the spirit of 1963, of Junior Johnson, Smokey Yunick, and the golden age of NASCAR innovation. Witnesses described the moment as surreal, an unforgettable glimpse into a past that had once changed the course of racing history. When racing legend Dick Goldstrand spoke about the Mystery Motor, his insights revealed just how far ahead of its time it truly was. Officially known as the Mark II 427, the engine was born with one mission: to conquer Ford's 427 FE and Chrysler's 426 Hemi. Built for NASCAR and endurance racing, it was a technical masterpiece, capable of generating immense power while maintaining high RPM stability, especially on tracks like Daytona and Le Mans. But as Goldstrand explained, the biggest challenge wasn't raw horsepower, it was reliability. Chevrolet's engineers, working in secrecy with innovators like Smokey Yunick and Junior Johnson, refined the engine through countless shadow tests. Since the AMA ban prohibited direct factory racing involvement, Chevrolet had to operate off the record, supporting teams through back channels and trusted mechanics. The Mystery Motor was the product of that hidden collaboration, the bridge between the old W Series engines like the 348 and 409 and what would later become the legendary Mark IV family, including the 396, 427, and 454. Despite its brilliance, the engine's advanced design also made it difficult to master. Its canted valve heads and high RPM focus were ideal for long, fast tracks, but less forgiving for shorter circuits or inexperienced teams. Small changes to cam profiles, intake systems, or exhaust setups didn't always behave as expected, leaving even skilled tuners puzzled. Goldstrand recalled how secrecy inside GM added to the challenge. Only a select group of engineers and executives even knew the program existed. This secrecy was a direct result of the AMA's strict rules. Engineers like Zora Arkus Duntov, the father of the Corvette, and Vince Piggins, Chevrolet's performance chief, pushed hard to keep racing innovation alive. But GM's top brass feared backlash and legal trouble. The internal tension peaked in 1963 when GM officially withdrew from factory-backed motorsports, citing compliance with the AMA ban. The decision effectively killed the Mystery Motor project overnight, leaving private teams without funding or technical support to continue development. The mystery motor was supposed to be the new benchmark for American performance, but its complexity, secrecy, and political obstacles prevented mass production or street adaptation. In the end, fewer than 20 were ever built. Still, its cutting-edge design didn't go to waste. Its innovations directly inspired Chevrolet's 1965 Mark IV big block engines, including the 396 and the 427 that would later dominate both racetracks and muscle cars. The story of the mystery motor is a bittersweet one, a tale of what might have been. It remains a symbol of Chevrolet's boldest experiment, an engineering marvel that was silenced too soon. The decision to pull out of NASCAR forever changed the direction of American racing, and the mystery motor became a ghost of unrealized potential. Even so, its legacy endures. Thanks to passionate enthusiasts like Tom McIntyre and Jim Duttweiler, we've been able to witness its power one last time, to hear the thunder of a legend reborn. The 427 mystery motor may have been banned and forgotten by its own creators, but it has since become a true Chevrolet icon. History has been kind to it, recognizing its design as the foundation for decades of performance greatness. And that's why here at the Garage Legends, we celebrate engines like this, machines that changed the rules, challenged the limits, and left behind a story worth remembering. The mystery motor wasn't just an engine, it was a statement, and its echo still rumbles through the heart of every Chevy legend that came after it.